Bina has an autism diagnosis appointment tomorrow, and she's terrified. Her mother, Sarah, is going to sabotage everything. Bina is 17 years old, AFAB, assigned female at birth, and Sarah is about 49 years old. Tomorrow is Bina's diagnostic appointment, and Sarah is required to come with her so they can ask her a few questions about Bina's childhood. Now, here is why Bina is scared. Sarah believes that Bina is just getting this because she's paranoid and trying to pick as many mental illnesses as possible, even though Bina has clarified to her that she has been doing research for years. When Bina begged her to do some research on it herself, Sarah refused. She literally just refused. Why? She isn't bothered to educate herself, which, as much as it annoyed Bina, did not really matter, or that's what Bina thought. Sarah has been progressively changing things about Bina's childhood in the last few months. Bina asked her when she started speaking. Sarah replied, about 4 years old, and that was what she told Bina for most of her life. In the past few weeks, Bina asked her again, since the doctor asked her about it. Sarah said, I don't remember, maybe like 1 to 2 years old, which is wildly different from what she said earlier. Same thing for when Bina asked her about her vocabulary. Before, it was just a few words at most. Now, it's advanced vocabulary. This evening, Bina was telling her to please say the truth. Bina doesn't care what the truth is, just say it. Sarah replied with, I'll say whatever comes to my mind. Bina is so upset right now. She's getting an anxiety attack in her room and crying. If her chances of getting a diagnosis get ruined because of Sarah, because she is not being truthful, Bina is going to cry her eyes out of their sockets. Bina still has an entire childhood case history to fill in. She can't because Sarah refuses to and changes everything up, literally twice or thrice for the exact same question. What should Bina do? Should she tell the doctor about this? What does she even say? Bina is panicking so much. What if they completely dismiss her because Sarah lies? Or what if they misdiagnose her? Please give some advice. Bina really needs it right now. This is based in the United Kingdom, if this information helps. Response to OP. Bina, I'm sorry that you're feeling so anxious about tomorrow. I can imagine the test in itself already impacts you, and having such a worry on top of it sounds really stressful. My experience, having been diagnosed with ADHD and autism, is that the doctor/specialist didn't only take into account what my mother said, but also my mother's attitude during the conversation, the interaction between my mother and me, and how I responded, both mentally and physically. I think that it could be worth expressing to your doctor that you worry about your mother's answers. But I'd also expect your doctor to look beyond the answers and pay attention to other signs that are relevant for the diagnosis. Another response to OP. Bina, I would share your concerns with your doctor. Perhaps even print your post here and give it to them, because it is pretty clearly stated. I don't know if you have any other diagnosis, but you're welcome to share this with her. I am nearly 50, 48 next month. I had received multiple inaccurate diagnoses since I was around 9 years old. It caused a lot of unnecessary struggles and stigmatization, to say the least. When I finally got the right one, of autism, everything fell into place, and now the full picture of my past made sense. It effectively replaced the other diagnoses, since now that my issues were seen as a whole, there were no longer singular diagnosis terms that only applied to a fraction of what was happening. Yes, I can still have some depression and symptoms of CPTSD, but they largely fall under the umbrella of autism. So, rather than gathering diagnoses, I finally got the right one, and it has changed my life for the better. Update. Bina has had her autism evaluation today, and the doctors have concluded that she is autistic. This means so much to her. It's unbelievable. It's still weird, because it does change a lot, since she was already self-diagnosed. But hey, at least it can help her out in university. This morning, Bina woke up at 7 a.m., got out of the house at 8:45, and arrived there in time. She had 2 professionals evaluate her, which was nerve-wracking to say the least. But hey, she couldn't ask for more. The first 40 minutes were asking Bina questions, getting her to do certain activities, which included this bizarre book about floating toads. IDK either, LOL. For the last 20 minutes, they asked Sarah to come in with the interpreter. They're immigrants, so Sarah's English isn't that good. Bina took the advice you all gave her yesterday, and before they invited Sarah in, Bina informed them that she may not be able to remember all the details and that Bina's masking at home may affect some of what she says. They reassured her that this is not as important as the conversations they just had. They proceed to inform Sarah with the conclusion that Bina is highly likely to be autistic. Sarah stupidly decided that the first thing she should say about that is, "My daughter doesn't have autism. She thinks she does." They were immediately thrown off. She was supposed to sit there and answer questions. That's the whole reason she came in. But right after saying that, they didn't even ask her one question. All of Bina's childhood case history was handed over to her, and Bina did all of the talking. Bina can't believe that this has finally happened. She's been fighting for a diagnosis for almost 4 years and waited for about a year for this appointment. Bina is so happy now, thanks to everyone who gave her advice and supported her yesterday. The love Bina was shown was so sweet, and she could have never been this understood by anyone other than you. She cannot stress how thankful she is that you took time off from your day to help her out. Bina sincerely thanks everyone from the depth of her heart. You're all amazing people. Bina would also like to apologize for using the term autism diagnosis, as it was brought to her attention yesterday that it is not an appropriate terminology to use. So, from now on, she will refer to it as an autism evaluation. Thank you very much to the user who highlighted this. Bina has shared this post with other subreddits, so some of the information mentioned may not be completely referring to this subreddit. If there are any specific details she should remove, please inform her. Thank you. Now to the next story. Story 2. Lauren's 16-year-old son, Kyle, recently started imitating a boy from an Instagram/TikTok account run by a mother who posts videos of her autistic teenage son. Kyle recently started following this account on Instagram/TikTok by this mom who posts videos of her autistic teen son. The kid is low-functioning. Lauren doesn't know the politically correct way to say this, and he can't talk, can't understand complicated concepts, etc. At first, Kyle started constantly referencing this account at inappropriate times, like family dinner, making jokes about it, randomly showing the edits he made of the account, but that was harmless enough. However, lately, Kyle has been imitating this kid, and it's ruining Lauren's home life. When Lauren asks him to do basic chores, he stims and refuses to do them. When Lauren asks what he wants for dinner, he lists off ingredients in this weird way that doesn't make any sense. For example, chicken, taco, onion. He won't even answer Lauren in complete sentences anymore when they talk. He's even doing random things around the house, like dumping out entire cartons of milk into the sink and refusing to explain himself. At first, Lauren laughed it off, but this is actually making it impossible for Kyle to talk normally. He even randomly makes these noises when he's talking to his friends, and Lauren's gotten calls home from school. Lauren's not saying it's bad to be autistic, but Kyle isn't and never has been, and this has started to interfere with his entire life. Update. Hi everyone. Lauren didn't think she would do an update, but she found out that her original post had blown up and gotten reposted on other platforms, so she thought she would update you all. After everyone's recommendations in the comments of her original post, Lauren decided to go ahead and restrict Kyle's access to social media. After thinking about it for a while, Lauren decided to give him 15 minutes of supervised use of his phone every day, in case he had to text his friends. However, whenever this time happened, Kyle would spend just a couple of minutes checking and quickly answering his texts, and then he spent the rest of the 15 minutes just watching the new videos from about this account he was obsessed with. He would imitate the kid while watching the videos and show Lauren all the posts about him that he found funny. The first few times when Lauren took away his phone after 15 minutes, he would get upset about it, dropping the autism act, and try to get more time. But that quickly stopped when Lauren threatened to limit the time even more. After over a week, he seemed to still be just as obsessed with this account and imitating the kid's mannerisms, so Lauren thought she might have to take even more measures to make him stop. However, soon afterward, Lauren received a call from Kyle's school principal. It turns out one of the kids in his class had an autistic sibling and found his behavior offensive and annoying, so they reported him to the principal, who had brought him in to talk and gave him detention and was threatening worse if this continued. This finally brought Kyle to stop doing this in school, and after Lauren spoke to him about his principal calling her at home too, Lauren made him unfollow the account on social media, and then she gave him normal access to his phone again. He has never explained to Lauren what was motivating him to act the way he did, but Lauren thinks it was a combination of encouragement from his friends, who found his accurate impressions of this kid funny and would call it going name of the autistic kid mode, and using it as a weird way to get out of doing work around the house. A month or so later, once this had all blown over, Kyle was looking at Instagram and saw Lauren's original post reposted over a clip of someone playing a video game. He asked Lauren about it, and Lauren told him it was her. He was a bit angry, but Lauren thinks he realized he couldn't get too mad at her for it after what he had been doing. Just this week, Kyle saw a fake update post on the same account where someone had made up an update to Lauren's original post, which Lauren didn't write. Because of that, Lauren thought she should make this update, telling you what actually happened. Now to the next story. Story 3. Kara's husband, Mark, cheated and gave her a sexually transmitted disease while she's pregnant. Am I the age for considering abortion? Kara is currently 8 weeks into her pregnancy. She had gone for a routine pap smear and STD screening. A few days later, she tested positive for gonorrhea. She had never cheated on Mark and never expected that he cheated on her. When she confronted him with the test results, he seemed genuinely shocked and insisted that there had to be a mix-up with the results. He swore up and down that he had been faithful and there was no way that it could be true. Kara insisted that he get tested. He agreed to do it, and as the days passed, he admitted that he had met a woman online and had sex with her. He claimed it was a mistake, and he couldn't answer why he did it. He said the woman meant nothing to him, and it was a one-time thing. Kara is disgusted and feels betrayed, knowing that he put her at such risk. Their pregnancy was planned, so they were actively trying before she got pregnant, and he had no regard for that. The thought of continuing the pregnancy while dealing with this betrayal is overwhelming. Kara is considering having an abortion because the idea of bringing a child in the mix is crazy to her. She doesn't think she can ever forgive him. She feels like crap for thinking of having an abortion. She just can't see herself continuing this marriage and having a baby with him. Relevant comments from OP. Kara is already on the verge of losing her mind just from knowing he had unprotected sex with a random woman, risking her life and their unborn baby. She would rather not dig into what he's been up to online, as she thinks that would cause even more pain for her. Commenter. Does the STD risk the health of the baby? I think many of them do. With that in mind, I would end the pregnancy unless you were in your late 30s or 40s and really think this is your one shot at a child, and it's your greatest dream to the extent of doing it single. Definitely terminate the marriage. He is a slime ball. OP. It was caught early, and Kara was treated. Me and baby are safe. Update. Kara finally decided to find out the truth about his affair. She figured out Mark's email password and discovered that he's been on dating sites for months. She also found a woman's name and email address from hotel bookings he forwarded to her. Kara Googled her information, found out where she worked, and called her. When she picked up, Kara got scared and hung up, but she called back, and they had a long conversation. She said that she didn't know he was married and kept apologizing. She told Kara that if Kara and Mark have been intimate in the past few weeks, Kara should get tested because he gave her an STD. Kara was shocked because she thought she had given it to him. She said he gaslighted her, making it seem like she got it from someone else. Kara told her he did the same to Kara. Kara didn't mention that she's pregnant. She said she cut him off and is considering suing him over it. They met on Tinder and had been seeing each other for 6 months. Although Kara initially thought she should have known he was married, but Kara believes her because Mark isn't on social media. He has an Insta account, but doesn't post pictures. She confirmed that they had sex multiple times, contradicting his claim that it was a one-time thing. She said they spent time in hotels until she felt comfortable inviting him to her apartment. We came to the conclusion that she was just one of the women he was involved with because he gave both of us an STD. Hearing all this made Kara sick, knowing there are other women. She feels stupid for not realizing what was going on and probably wouldn't have found out if it wasn't for the STD results. Mark doesn't know what Kara's discovered or that she's spoken to her. This is incredibly tough. Kara's heartbroken and conflicted about whether she should schedule an abortion, but finding this out is pushing her towards that decision. Relevant comments. Comment 1. It's heartbreaking that you have to make this choice at all. Until recently, you thought your marriage was intact and this pregnancy was wanted, but I'd really consider whether you want to be tied to this man for the rest of your life and have to co-parent with someone who was this cavalier with your health and well-being. OP. Kara wishes she didn't have to make this tough decision. She doesn't want to co-parent with him, but at the same time, she feels so bad about having an abortion. Her fear is that it might be a big regret that she won't be able to get over. It's so frustrating because each decision is heartbreaking either way. Comment 2. How did she not suspect he was married, even though she had never been to his house or met his important friends and family in 6 months? Remember, the baby is innocent and half of you. Opie. She's actually met one of his close friends, who's also married, which might mean that his friend is also having an affair. Kara doesn't know for sure, but if his friend is okay with meeting Mark's AP, Kara guesses he too has an AP. Kara is pretty sure his wife, who is Kara's friend, doesn't know about this. Comment 3. The most important gift you give your child is an amazing father. It sounds like you have a horrible narcissist on your hands. If you go through with this pregnancy, he will be in your life for the rest of your life and play horrible mind games on you and your child. Going through pregnancy is one of the most vulnerable experiences of your life. When you're pregnant, you risk injury or death. Imagine if something happened to you and your newborn baby was handed to this monster as the sole caretaker of an innocent life. Be thankful you have clarity now while you still have time to make decisions and truly think of your future. You can't trust anything he says about improving. He is capable and willing to lie without remorse. If he feels badly, it's just that he feels bad for getting caught, not for cheating. Opie. If Kara decides to go through with this pregnancy, she would want nothing to do with him and would prefer that he not be part of this experience or the child's life. She knows that's selfish to say, and it's also impossible because he will make their lives hell. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories happening around you.